Hello. Welcome back. I am excited to be here. Sorry, I was looking over here to see the comments to see who was on. I'm so excited. This will be fun tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Have you painted yet? Are you waiting to get through the videos first, or have you started? I know some of you have started. So I am excited, and I wanted to, we'll just give a few minutes to get everybody on here. Sorry, I'm trying to find the comments. There we go. All right. Hey, so excited you guys are here. Is it okay? Is it Elisa? Is that how I say your name? Alicia or Elisa? I'm guessing that that's what it is. Correct me. Just say yes or tell me I'm totally off. Hey Yvonne, I'm glad you're here. Hi Sheila, neighbor. Yes, It Poured Buckets here. And Merla, welcome from Montana. Glad you're here. Hi Beth. Hi Veronica and Penny. Hello. Let's see. Hi. Who else? You haven't painted yet? Yep, that's fine. Totally fine. So, okay, Elisa, I got it right. Yay. Hey, Dodie. Yay, you did make it for a live. So, anyways, I'm excited to be back with you guys tonight. We had rain come through. I'm glad it's not doing it right now because I'm in my studio and it's a metal roof. And, I mean, it was like the big dump bucket that they have at the water parks. It just dumped all at once. And everything's muddy in like 5 minutes. I couldn't believe. Hi, Jeannie. Hello from South Carolina. Yeah, I love it when I've started painting with people all over the country. I've always been, just local, which is stretched out pretty good. I mean, I have people that drive an hour to come and paint in the studio, but I think it's awesome that I've met so many people all over. Hey, Shelly from Minnesota. That's so exciting. This is awesome, you guys. So anyways, I'm glad it's not raining. So everyone, you can hear the rain coming off the trees sometimes. But yes, it was pouring. It was so loud. I know, Yvonne. So I was taking my granddaughter. I had my granddaughter for the last 2 days. She spent the night. She's 13 months and such a sweetheart. And I was taking her back to the Liberty, the bigger town, to meet her mom. Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Yeah, YouTube would be great. You could, I think, I'm not sure, because it's a private video, I'm not sure if you'll be able to pull it up. I don't know if you have a smart TV. I don't know how that works, but on a computer, you should be able to pull it up. So hopefully you can find a bigger view than your little 2-inch square. But anyways, I saw the storm coming in, and I was hoping, man, I hope this is done by the time we paint tonight, because it's so loud in here when it rains. So anyways. All right, you guys, we'll just give a few more minutes for people to hop on. I know it's different parts of the country. You guys are seeing rain. I know we needed it too. We haven't hardly had any rain. But yeah, it just kind of comes up out of nowhere and it lasts for a couple minutes. And then I didn't even see it on the forecast. I mean, I was looking at my weather report and it was like, we're not getting any rain. And then here it is. So hopefully Elisa, you get some rain here soon because we all need it. It gets so dry and arid out. Crops need it. I know all the livestock needs it. So my flowers definitely need it. I have to water them. My water bill's always high when we don't get much rain. But anyways, all right. Well, real quick, I'm going to share my screen with you, because I want to show you. I know we get questions, will these be replays? How do I access, can't even talk, the replays and all that stuff. So I just want to show you, I've not done screen sharing on here. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on, quit popping up here. I know there is screen sharing options. Sorry, I don't screen share often, at least not with this. I do with Zoom, but not sourcing. Maybe it's on the sidebar. Hang on here. There it is. Okay. Okay, no, I don't want to interview. I want screen share. There we go. I'm finding it. Hang on here. Well, there's the settings for it. Now, where is the actual sharing button? Hold on. I wanted to show you how to find stuff, and I just thought, well, it'll be easier. I thought it would be easier if I can find what I'm looking for here. I know it popped up once by accident, but if I don't find it here in a second, we're going to just skip it. None of that. Okay, I don't know. Interview, screen share, hang on. One more quick across the top. Options. I know that's where it's at. But maybe not. Source, scene. Okay, well, never mind. All right, so I'm going to just kind of tell you here really quick. Good grief. I should have looked for that earlier. I had it written down to do it. I should have looked for where it was at instead of been doing this. Okay, so anyways, forget the screen share, but sharing window off. Oh, pro. Okay, never mind. Forget it. Okay, so the link with the page that you're on right now that has the chat below the video, okay, at the top there's 4 little pictures of the same thing, and it gives you the dates: Monday, October 4th, Wednesday, October 6th, and Friday, October 8th. And then it has the celebration party. Those are the same places that you will go to. Let me get out of this now. That's the exact same place you will go to get your replays. There won't be, it's not like a Facebook Live to where it has to be saved on something else. It's right there, the same link. Once I'm finished with the video, then it's ready to go. Like, so Monday night when we painted, as soon as I turned off the video on my end, then you could start watching it right there from the exact same link. So you don't go anywhere else to get your replays. They're in the same place. So just keep that that same link in the emails. And too, I know that some people aren't getting emails. I would say that if you're on here, you've probably gotten some emails because you had to find the Facebook group through an email. And then all the information comes through emails. Good lesson that we learned on Monday was when Facebook shut down, and I won't be surprised if that doesn't happen again. It's just things are screwy right now. And so email is, I'm so thankful that I set up this Paint Away with communicating with you guys through email, because if I was just using Facebook, we would have been lost Monday, except for the time, at least it wasn't real long, and we were back on by that evening. But if it was, longer than that or anything like that, we would have been, kind of up a creek without a paddle. So anyways, email is important. So check your spam. And if you're still not getting email, or you can't find it, you can let support know at piecesofmyart.com, sorry, and Laurie at piecesofmyartkc.com. So just send us an email, say, hey, I am not seeing the emails, because we send them out daily, not really daily, but the days that we have the class, to remind you where it's at, what time it's at, and just kind of checking in with you guys. So you should have several emails that you should have gotten by now. So if you're not seeing them, check your spam folder first, make sure they're not going in there. Can't get the words connected to my brain. But anyways, the emails can tend to go into the spam easily. I was looking for something the other day, expecting an email, and I was looking in my spam folder, and I was like, my goodness, I read emails from this particular person or whatever all the time, and they're still going, some of them are still going into my spam. So always check those, because you never know. So anyways, that is that. Trying to think of anything else. So if you guys are doing the contest really quick, I've been reading on the post that I know it was a little confusing to find the post. It looked like on the actual post, the link was taking you to it on my actual Facebook page, but when we put it in the comments, it wasn't working, even though it was the same link that was taking you to something that was not there. I don't know what's up with that. Facebook screwy right now. But anyways, we will do another one tonight. So I appreciate you guys' feedback. I love reading about your experiences, and my favorite is when just mixing colors, when that's new for you. And I think that's so cool to just introduce that to you. It's just the color mixing itself. Tonight we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make pumpkins. So there'll be another post for you to comment on tonight. And then Friday we'll have one. And of course, don't forget to take a picture of your painting. I know there was a few yesterday that just had their background, which this is covered up. This is the final thing, but this is the background we did yesterday, and this is what we're going to paint on. So some of you even just shared that, which is totally fine, or you can wait till you're done. There's a couple hashtags to use with it, which Ingrid can give you those, and they're in the post. They're in, some of the quick links, or I think it's the quick links page. So you can find that stuff in there. Obviously, I can't find it because, I can find it, but I can't explain it to you. I can't tell you. It's kind of like knowing the directions and how to get somewhere. It's like I can tell you where you turn at that one house, and then you go this way on this road, then you go past that big old tree, but I couldn't tell you the names of the roads. So it's kind of like that. But anyways, you can share your picture. Make sure you're sharing it not within our group, because what I'm hoping you do is you share it with your own friends on your personal Facebook. And so let them see what's going on and what you're doing. And you get good feedback from that. You get some positive things, and it's kind of encouraging when people see, oh, you're painting, and I want to encourage you to keep doing it, and I want you to encourage other people to do it as well. So anyways, you guys ready to get started tonight? Let's see who else is on here. Arabella, hello, welcome back. Hang on. Every time I click on something, it wants to pull up other screens that I don't want. And then it's like I got to, if you guys saw my computer right now with all the screens open, I'm trying to just narrow down the chat so I don't have all the distractions. Arabella, let's see. Tammy, did you figure out how to get it bigger? I hope you did. So, all right, well, let's get started. Let's get paint out, and we're going to, so I'm going to kind of show you sitting here, and then I'll flip the camera to the straight on here. The coloring will be better. You can see the difference with the coloring already on it. It's like my other camera is so much better. All right, Ingrid's hooking you guys all up with the directions and the actual road names and the map to get to where you need to be, because Laurie doesn't even know half the time. So it just gets, my brain gets so full when I'm getting ready to do a paint away, and all the work we put into the emails and all the work we get put into setting up the website pages, which I learned it last spring. So I tell you what, I'm way better off this now than it was in spring. So if you did the flower paint away, the end of the garden paint away with me, I was learning all the website stuff and everything along with it. So today this time it's like, okay, a little bit better, even though it's like your brain just gets overloaded with where all the links go and all the stuff that you guys need to know. So that's why Ingrid's here. She helps me not feel bad if I can't remember everything. So anyways, all right, colors. We're going to use chrome yellow. If you guys do not have mixing colors, don't think you can't do this, because if you just have oranges, and I would encourage you, if you have different shades of oranges or some reds and some yellows and stuff to put in there. So I have my yellow. We're definitely going to need white. I saw somebody said they were already out of white. Do you have white for tonight? I hope you do. Elisa, sorry, I always want to say it the other way. Elisa, were you the one that said you were out of white? I don't remember who. Somebody did. Oh yeah, you were. Oh no. Well, if you I don't know, if you're completely out, you might want to wait, because I will tell you to cover up, so I have my titanium white to cover up when we're painting over top of something. You definitely want white to go over. It's almost like like a primer or a, you know, just something to block out underneath. Otherwise, if you put yellow and red, sorry, these are noisy bottles today. If you put yellow and red on top of greens and stuff, it'll show through. So white is super important to have. So, and then I have my bright red, because I am going to show you how to do this. This is clogged up. Get that red out of there. Okay, I won't get as much red on my plate because red goes a long ways. So there's my petals, and I'm going to put red on there. I mean, I'll use red, but not near as much of the yellow, because red goes a long ways. The black goes a long ways, red goes a long ways. So you usually don't need as much of those. I'm not going to get blue out. I don't know if we'll get to any leaves. We probably won't. I think we're just going to do pumpkins tonight. That way we know that it's dry. I don't know if we'll just start with pumpkin. We'll see. I'll get it out later if I need it. And I don't use a lot of blue, but I do use black. But so I'm going to get Mars Black out. So I am not getting any blue out this time. So if you got blues or greens or whatever, just hold off on those, because we may totally wait for those for Friday morning. I know that it's probably a time when some people can't make it. I try to do that just for the fact that I know not everybody can make evenings. And so I want to make sure that some people have an opportunity to paint during the day that can't do an evening time, or just different time zones and stuff like that. So I wanted to catch some, and it was good planning on my part because I didn't realize it's homecoming weekend for our town, and I have a son in football. And when I scheduled all that, I didn't even know that it was homecoming. And so it's a good thing, because he's got a parade in the afternoon and the homecoming game. He doesn't play high school football, but still, it's going to be a busy night. So I'm glad I'm not. I wouldn't have done a class on Friday night anyways. It's just a hard night. Okay, so there's my palette of paint tonight. All right, Elisa, I wish I could send you some white paint. My suggestion, you can play around and see what you can come up with. I don't know what paint you use, so they may cover okay, but if they're the thinner, more fluid acrylics like what I use, you may run into some problems. If you still want to play with it, you can go ahead and try it. And then if you find out it's not working for you, don't stress over it, but just let it dry, and then you'll still have the base of your pumpkins, and then when you get some more white paint, you can just go over them again, and then you'll have it ready to go. Okay? All right, you'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to turn around. Let me switch the camera to that one. And we are going to use, let me remember where I'm at so I can make sure I'm showing you. So I am using my number 8 bright brush is what I'm going to use for this part. And I'm already thirsty. All right, so all that talking about white paint, I am going to start with, I got to move the chair, or I'm going to trip over the chair. You guys are going to hear a big crash, and I'm going to be on the floor here. All right, so anyways, I'm looking at my reference picture, which is the one you saw when you joined. And I'm just going to kind of show you, we're going to paint only white to start with, and I do not paint it thick at all. I always forget which camera to look at, if you can even see me. But anyways, we're going to just do white only, and I'm going to keep it really thin because it doesn't need to be heavy. Even though we want to block out what's underneath, it doesn't have to be 100% blocked out. But we're going to, excuse me, we're going to talk about sizes here. I know some of you asked about templates, and I did think maybe when I first painted this that I would have a template for the pumpkins, but then I thought, you know what? They're not that hard to get the shape, and that's all we need. And then I'll show you how to paint them in a way. And I kind of gave you a little sample the other night on my actual Facebook page of just painting one pumpkin. But the main thing is getting the sizes to make this look like the pumpkins are going away from us, that we're looking across a field. Okay, so back wherever your blue and your green meats. Remember, we softened it so much to not have a real strong difference in colors there. But like this would be like way far back. And so there's probably, even though there's pumpkins that could be way back there, and I'm looking at my other ones, we'll add some more kind of around this. Kind of depends where our pumpkins are, but I'll kind of show you how we'll finish this out. So after we do tonight, after we do our pumpkins, there'll be another class where we'll show you how to do, I'll show you how to do the leaves and how to just kind of finish off this back area where it's softer. Somebody did ask me, and since I had my grandbaby today, I would hop on and check out, you know, some comments. And I know somebody asked me, then I never found it again. I was so busy with her today. But somebody asked me, because of the size of canvas, and I don't know if you're on here, like how high or how far down the sky needs to be or how high up the ground needs to be. And depending on your canvas, it really doesn't matter where you decide you want to stop. But because most of our paintings, pumpkins, I would say at least 3/4 of your surface, you want to be the greens and then the sky above it. But even if it's more sky, you're going to end up with a heavy painting down at the bottom with too much at the bottom and not enough at the top. So you want at least 3/4 of it to be where you can put pumpkins. All right, so I have white paint on my brush, and I'm going to turn completely around so I can see where my pumpkins are. So we're going to just start. Okay, so and if you have different size pumpkin or canvases, not pumpkins, just kind of scale it to the size of your canvas. So let me give you an idea. So this one, I have a pumpkin in this corner and I have a pumpkin in this corner, okay? So if it's a lot smaller, your pumpkin's gonna be smaller in those corners. If it's big, it's okay. It's just you're looking at it closer, so it's not important. The main thing is that we're getting our pumpkin smaller as we move further back. So we're gonna start with the 3 pumpkins that are right here. We're gonna do one right here, and then we're gonna do one here that's kind of off the edge, and a little one that's like right down here in the front. So deep breath, you guys. You can do this. You're not gonna mess anything up, I promise you. If you get something weird shape for one, pumpkin's a weird shape. My son and I picked up 3 pumpkins today at the store, and I said, just pick some out. And they were the oddest. You know, they're all different. We dig and dig and dig through those big box bins and try to get the perfect shaped pumpkin. This is the field where they grow. This is where all the non-perfect pumpkins live, and we want to give them our attention and make them beautiful no matter how the shape is. So don't get caught up on a perfect shaped pumpkin. They all are different. So just like us, we're all different and we're all special. All right. So I'm going to just come over here because I'll paint over towards me. So you don't even have to worry about if the shape of it has the dent in the middle, but I do want to show you. Can you see that okay? Yeah, okay. I do want to show you. So like, this is with the white paint. So do you see how I just kind of did like 3 bumps? Okay, so this is like around the back of the pumpkin here. So normally you think there's one just like this, like it's just one bump in the middle, or you know, the little indentation where the stem goes. But we're kind of looking over top of them so we can kind of see the other side. All right, so there's my first one. And I'm just really quick. Now let's talk about the direction of our brush, because we can talk about these things with white paint when it's safe. If you think about the direction, if you think about you're holding a pumpkin, if you have one handy, grab it, touch it, and you got your stem in the middle, and your hands slide around it, all those directions. You have to picture this as a 3D object and think, if the stem's going to be right in there, my brush, the center of this is going to go all the way around, and I'm going to kind of make it look striped first. So you can kind of see the directions of my brush, because this is going to be important when we're painting our colors, okay? So like the ones forward kind of come up over that bump and they come down, but I just want you to kind of see the direction that my brush is going, okay? So when you paint your pumpkin, I'm going to set it up on the edge so I can go off the edge here. When you paint the color on it, that's going to be important to know that, which direction your brush. So you don't want to paint it all this way. You don't want to paint it, you know, just all different directions. You want to stay with a following So that center is always straight. Even though it's not straight, it's curving towards you, but you don't see the curve in it, okay? If you still have, so I could leave some of that green showing through there. It makes awesome shadows on your pumpkin. Like I said, this does not have to be really heavy. I'm not going to try to cover it so well that you can't see anything underneath it, because that will play into your painting. It'll add those shadows in there for you if you don't try to cover it up so much. And we'll talk about that later when we get to the color. All right, so I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to just do one down here, and then we'll put this one up here. And if your pumpkins don't end up in the same place as mine are, it's okay. The main thing is getting the sizes and just kind of, you want them. This one almost looks too perfect compared to my first one up here, but we'll work on this. So this one that's down here, I almost want to see it. See, I could make this, sorry, I'm distracting myself here. I could pull, when I paint this, I could put my stem down lower to where I'm looking over top of it a little bit more. So all that's going to be something we can work on. All right, so down here, this little guy is kind of off the edge. Not much of him showing. I like the big fat pumpkins, the flat fat ones. Okay, so I'm thinking different bumps along the back. Okay. And then, so this is kind of the back, and then I don't know, sometimes it's just kind of depends where our stem's going to be. It'll look different, you know, and we'll just kind of decide where's the stem going to be best for this one. So, anyways, this does not have to be this big old chunk of something right there. I guess it's dried on there. Okay. No, it's not. It's dried paint, but it's... All right. Sorry, I was trying to wipe something off and painting real heavy. All right, so same thing. You want those lines to kind of reflect if you were rubbing your hands around that pumpkin, kind of the direction that pumpkin would be. Okay, so there's two. It's easy. Just big old white pumpkins. It's going to get fun though when we start adding colors. All right, and I do mine a real soft orange. We'll talk about color here in a minute. All right, so I want to do this one right here. So these are pretty big, and then we're going to start getting smaller. If your pumpkins overlap, if this pumpkin ends up behind this one, this one's closest to you, so it would be the front, but if they overlap, it's okay. So don't worry if you accidentally have your pumpkins, or it's not really an accident, if your pumpkins touch. It's all right. So this one, you're going to see the full thing for now. Now when we do leaves, that's going to change. But anyways, you could do tall, skinny pumpkins for real. It does not. And we can also change shapes as we're painting the orange too. See how straight my lines get in the middle? Okay. So now we're going to start getting a little bit, there's one more kind of big pumpkin right here. I'll make it a little bit smaller, and then there's going to be, well, we're going to go a little bit smaller. Okay. So one more here. Is everybody doing okay? All sizes and shapes, you're right. Beth, that's a great idea. Mixed media pad or paper, yeah, just something else you can paint on and just practice your pumpkins on that. All right. I've ran out of white paint before. I've had to go to Michael's and grab some for classes. And one time, when I used to go teach at I'm going to scoot the mic up a little bit. I hope you guys are hearing me okay. When I used to go teach at a coffee shop, one of the first, before I had my studio a long time ago, drink break, sorry. When I had one of my older boys was a teenager then, and I don't remember whatever reason I was late. running behind, and I'm like, will you get my art stuff ready? Will you load it up in the car? Will you make sure my paints are filled up? And he didn't fill up my white. I probably had 20 people at this class, and I had probably half a bottle of white, this pint size here. I was praying that night we did not run out of white paint, but I was like so worried. I'm like, why did you not put white paint in there? It's the one I needed the most. White's usually the one I go through quickest. All right, so there's our big pumpkins. Now we're going to start getting littler. So in my original picture, I have two pumpkins here that are kind of right beside each other. So we'll paint the back one first. And this little guy is kind of sideways. So you can just kind of turn it on its side a little bit. Okay, so that one's, and I'm not really worried what it looks like down here because I'm going to put another pumpkin in front of it. Okay, so now, and this will be harder to see because it's white until we paint it. So now I can put one just right here, right off this edge. So I just painted it over top of it. Now when I paint the orange, I'll paint this guy in the back first, and then I'll paint the one on top. All right, we're getting a pumpkin patch. A lot of white pumpkins. They look like skeletons or ghosts or something. All right, so now let's do a couple more. Let's come get one up here. So definitely we get them smaller. We don't want to go a lot smaller. You know, those whiskers from my brush last night. So these are about half or a little less than half the size of the big ones in the front. And I'm going to raise this one up a little bit, just do this one here. This is like the perspective of this is if you were laying down on the ground and you had your camera out and you're trying to get this really cool picture, and there was tons of pumpkins. We drive by pumpkin patches all the time where we live because of this really awesome Fun Farm pumpkin patch place, and they grow all the pumpkins in the fields around our town, and so you can see all the pumpkin fields, which are cool, but there's a lot more weeds and a lot more leaves than there are pumpkins. At least the kind, they grow so many different kinds. And so the ones that I'm seeing, they rotate their crops all the time. So the one I've seen some that are like totally like full of pumpkins, but the ones now, they may be the squashes. They grow all the squashes, and it's so cool. It's a really cool place to go. But anyways, all right, so do you see how my pumpkins are getting smaller, and that's pushing them back? Now they're going to look like they're all floating until we do tomorrow. There must be something in our yard. The dog's out there kind of having a heyday, barking at something out there. It's dark. Okay. Let's come up here. I'm going to come up and over here. I'm going to put one. So you see I'm not really spending too much time on any kind of detail on these. It's super thin, and just to get them where I want them. Okay, and now I'll get a little bit smaller back here. So these are right along the top of where my color changes. My other one has some more greens up there, so we'll play around with that on Friday. I'm not really doing my lines now as much on these ones that are farther back because you're not gonna, they're less detail on the ones that are back farther. And then I got that one. Okay, so let's do a little bitty baby one up here. And another one over here. And that is it. That's all of our pumpkins for tonight for this. So it's not important exactly where your pumpkins are. I didn't count my pumpkins. I have people that are very OCD when it comes to painting, and they ask me how many leaves I paint or how many branches or whatever it is. It's like, I don't know. I don't count that stuff. So I don't even think about odd numbers and uneven numbers. Sometimes I do. But this, I don't even know. I've never even counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pumpkins. A dozen pumpkins. So anyways, now, because I painted these so thin down here, they're pretty well dry. Some of them, maybe not so much. So this is where it gets fun. So I'm going to show you. I wish I had a third camera to show you my overhead as well. I don't know how to hook up the webcam doesn't show color that well, so it wouldn't be the best. But if I did have it hooked up, it might be a good idea. At some point I do want to get another camera. I could have thought about that. I have my dad's old iPhone. I don't know if it can do the software though. And if I could have done a third camera, that might be kind of cool, or just switched it off of the webcam. All right, so I'm just cleaning the white out, which it would have been okay if I left it in there. Okay, so let's talk about colors of pumpkins. So colors of pumpkins, sorry, I was trying to stand down. So you can see the ones behind this way. These are pretty true. I think my screen shows them a little bit more yellow than they are. My plan was, you ended up with 13? That's funny. See, you're like me, Yvonne. You don't count till you think, oh, should I have counted? Now you're all counting your pumpkins, right? Because I don't. And when I painted it, I was like, I never counted it. I didn't have any idea. So when you paint pumpkins, so of course in the fall, the probably number one painting between September and October is pumpkins. It's like in this year, I've been teaching classes for 8 years, and it's like coming up with painting. It's like, is there anything that we can paint that's fall that doesn't include pumpkins? Not that I'm against pumpkins, but it's just like, other than trees with fall colored leaves. But it's just like, I just was trying to think of something else. I did a scarecrow. Last year, that's what I did. Some of you guys joined my heart club from that scarecrow painting that are on here. So you guys have been around for a year. Thank you so much for that. I know that you love it, or you wouldn't be around. And so anyways, the scarecrow was fun. I had a template on it. I may pull that back out for next year when I do this again. I don't know. But anyways, so coming up with fall stuff besides pumpkins sometimes was challenging. So we've painted tons of pumpkins in my studio. Some of my favorites is we'll do boards. I call them, they're porch leaners, but they're not the big ones. I call it porch art. And I have some boards over there I could show you, but I don't mess with them. They're the 1x8 pines, and I cut them about 3 foot long. And we'll do stacks of pumpkins, all small pumpkins going all the way up it. Or we've done them this direction where we have pumpkins, where last year we did like the blues and the aqua colored pumpkins and white pumpkins, the real soft colors. But anyways, every time we paint pumpkins, because I do them so often, it's like I'm always wanting different colors of pumpkins. I love the green pumpkins. I love the blue pumpkins, or blue-green or whatever. I like the soft orange ones. But there's always people who just want their pumpkins to be a pumpkin color, which is totally fine. So don't worry about, you guys paint your pumpkins the colors that you want them to be. My objective of the painting that I came up with was I wanted it to be a little bit softer, because that's just kind of the style of the art a little bit. Not that I let styles influence my art too much, but I'm just thinking, what would people like, to go with their style and their home decor, and what do I see in the stores like Hobby Lobby and Michael's and stuff like that, to kind of keep it a little trendy. But I don't want to be taking your ideas or what you love and tell you can't do that because you got to be trendy. You don't have to be trendy. You can make bright orange pumpkins if that's the kind of pumpkins you want. But anyways, you can make white pumpkins, whatever you want. And if you are doing white pumpkins, I'll check on comments. But I can paint some of these different colors But anyways, but I'm gonna do the soft orange. I just wanted my painting a little bit softer, so I use more white in it. But anyways, enough talking. Let's get some painting done here. All right. So my plate of paints you can see it. Okay. So when I do, we'll just start right here because that one's like right in eye view. So I do want white in it. And because already, and you'll see this in a minute, let me just show you, actually, let's not do white in it. I want to just show you what happens if you don't do white. Just taking a little bit of red. Remember how I said red is really, it's really dominant, so you don't hardly use any red compared to your yellow. All right, so there's just a pumpkin orange. You see how I pulled it out of the side instead of dipping it in the middle? That way I can get some. Now, I know I tell you to mix on your canvas. I sometimes will get it started just to get going, but I know the colors that I want in my pumpkin, so I don't mix up a puddle and make a perfect blend of this orange for my pumpkin. And then, because then it's like, okay, I painted my pumpkin, my paint's dry now on my plate, or I ran out of that color and now I got to try to mix it again. You waste so much paint like that, plus you miss out on all the different lines and shades in your pumpkin, in your painting. All right, so I'm painting right over this green that wasn't, and you can still see green through it. So it doesn't cover very well. So anyways, this is why I put white in with my brush, or with my paint. So now I'm gonna grab white, gonna grab some yellow, or not yellow, that's red. So I have a little bit of red on the end, make sure you guys can see. And then I'm gonna take a big amount of a yellow. Okay, so that's a lot of paint. Now, a lot of paint on my brush. I didn't mix it this time. This may be more paint than I need for just one pumpkin. So, but I just wanna kind of get it started, and I'm not gonna try to get it all the color I want yet. But I'm just going over this. And just covering up my white. And you see all the different colors that were on my brush. Now, I can blend those in if I want, or I can just let them be the different shades going through here. And when it dries completely, I can add new shades on top of it or whatever. I don't really worry about how the bottom looks because we are going to add shadows to the bottom. We'll have leaves and stuff like that. So I don't worry about what the bottom looks like. Okay, so what do we do at this top here? I probably need more paint. I have quite a bit on my brush though still. I love this color. This orange color was really pretty. And I also love seeing, see I have more red over there. I just love that. So it's like I didn't have to worry about painting all the ribs in that just because I didn't mix my colors on my plate. I had them all on my brush. So I was able to get all these different shades. Now like right in there, it almost looks like it has a little bit of brown tint to my orange. That's because that green's showing through. So remember how I said if you don't paint it super thick and you still have some of your green showing through, that can be part of the benefit of your painting. It adds those, creates those shadows for you. So then you don't have to go adding dark colors to it. And sometimes that can get a little tricky. And I do make sure I go all the way from the top to the bottom with my brush so that way I don't leave brush strokes or brush marks right in the middle. All right, so what do we do up here? I'm gonna grab some more, same colors, a little less white, because I do want that a little darker because that's kind of on the back side of the pumpkin. So I'm just going to come in to this center, and so I'm kind of coming straight down. And then I can go back and put these lines here, the tops. And then you'll know that your little, okay, I'm gonna have to use a little bit of white in there just to be able to show that. So you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, see there? So white is good for highlights. So then that pushed that color back. So it made it darker. Now my paint's pretty wet here, so for me to try to put more white on, it's kind of lifted it up, so I need to let it dry. But anyways, that kind of makes the little indentation like a place where a belly button would be, where your stem's going to go right down in there. Okay, so I may or may not want to add more to that. Right now I'm going to just let that dry the way it is, okay? I don't want to get so much paint on there that it starts picking back up. I might have talked, I don't know if I say this all the time, so I don't remember if it was Monday night. If you get too much paint and you keep messing with it, once it's on there thick, I paint thick at times. There's times for that. But if I'm painting thick, I'm not planning on doing a bunch with it, because it's just like the old days when we used to paint our own fingernails. You put that second coat on before the first coat dries, and then it just peels it back off, and it just gets all gummy and sticky, and it lifts it up, and it's like same thing with this. So if it's thick on there, and you're wanting to mess with it more, if you're planning on this is just the first coat, keep it kind of thin. But if it is super thick and you're like not done with it and you're like, I need to change this, I need to change the color, let it dry. It'll be so much easier for you than to keep trying to put more and more wet paint on it. All right, so we're gonna go on. Has anybody got any questions so far on the color? You guys doing okay? Oops, lost you. Okay, so let's do it again. You're gonna get plenty of chances to watch me pick up these colors. So white and yellow and red. I don't get as much red as I do yellow, okay? And it's all pretty much on one side of my brush. It's okay if it's on the other side, but once I paint, it ends up being on both sides. So let's just come down here to this one. Okay, there's a lot of red in that. So, but as I keep painting, then the other colors are starting to come out in it. I don't want any of the white on the edges to show, so I will totally go over my white. And my edges are not real clean. You can see, if you can see it up close. I don't know if you can. There's still some white under there, but remember I said don't worry about the bottom because we'll create some shadows under there. All right, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna grab yellow again or white. It does not matter what order you grab it either, by the way. It's more about the quantities than it is which color you put on your brush first. Now this one is off the edge, so you don't want to bring in your lines to all meet in the center. You want them to kind of go straight down. So some of your colors may look peach. Again, okay, let's talk about if you don't have mixing colors. Let's talk about if you have oranges or a orange and yellow and red. You can take those colors and mix them together. If you have orange for your pumpkin, take some yellows and some whites and some reds and change that color up a little bit, you know, so that way you do get more shades, more bang for your buck with your colors. Okay, I don't know why I always paint everything in the front first before I do this. It'd probably be more practical if I did the back first, but that's okay because I can go back over it. So I want it a little darker. I kind of put that little wedge in there. It's a little trickier to get your brush to go the direction you want it to for that one. All right, so let's take a little white to just lighten up the front of the pumpkin and the top edge of this. This is one of those cases where it's shown pretty thin. All right. All right, so this back here, these things, I can probably mess with them again once it's dry. And I'm not going to worry about it now, but they could probably have some little fixing in there, and I may use my little brush at the very end to do that. All right, you guys hanging in there okay? Looks like you are. You're probably all just busy painting. All right, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to just keep doing this. So I'm going to keep bringing more colors in. Or more color on this. My paint's falling on the floor. Let me do this first this time. This one's really light. Definitely didn't put as much red in it. Do it without the white though. Now if you're wanting really bright pumpkins, they're really bright orange, and you're wondering how to do that without putting white in it. Okay, so once you get them on like this, you can add, so you can do another coat, and I'll show you. You can do another coat with without using the white, and just get it really dark orange. So just getting a good base coat of lighter colors, no matter what color shade you want or how dark you want. But if you get that base coat first, then you can add just the red and yellow on it. Okay, there's a really light pumpkin. So you can have the white pumpkins too. And just be careful, the more you paint over this, the more you're going to lose your streaks. So if you want the streaks to show, go lightly on what you put in there. Okay, I'm going to leave that one. Yes, I will show you the finished painting real quick. And if you guys have like like a computer or something else that you can pull the finished painting up on to look at, that would be good. So can you see it? I'm going to show this to you up close. I want you to see, let me see, over here, hang on here. So you see in here, you know, like, you can see, I know sometimes people get really fussy about seeing the little canvas through there, the little white specks. So you can see those in mine. Now I could have probably gone and got them a little bit heavier, but you can see the little canvas marks in this, and it's okay. It really is. And I'm going to tell you something, because when I was at the museum in Washington, D.C. with my sister a few years ago, I took a picture of a Monet up close just to bring it back to show people that paint in my studio. It was before I did anything online, to show them that even his painting had, you could see the canvas and places on it, you know, and it's like everybody's like trying to cover that up and work so hard. You're welcome, Ingrid. To cover up that and make sure there's no, you know, there's no loose edges and the texture of the canvas showing or anything like that. And it's like, well, Monet does it, we can do it, so it's okay. And anyways, paintings are not meant to be viewed with you right in front of it. You don't walk into your, I mean, you might, I do, I say that. You don't walk into your house and walk up to a painting, you know, and just look at it really close. Now I do, because I paint and I'm interested in seeing how loose paintings are and how imperfect paintings are when you look at them up close. But paintings for viewing are to be stepped back from to look at and stuff. So, and one of the art museum in Kansas City, the Nelson Atkins has one of Monet's big. Monet's a great painter. I love his stuff. There's so many great painters, not that he's the only one. But anyways, has the Lily Pond, huge painting on one of the walls in there. And so if you go up close, it makes no sense. It doesn't. You just see all these pieces of color, and I can hear. My painters aren't complainers, but I can hear them. Oh, this looks horrible. I hear that. I hear, this doesn't look right. I'm like, and I'm walking around and I'm behind them or whatever, and I'm thinking, man, that's beautiful. And it doesn't look mine up close, you can see all the imperfections in it or the things that you think aren't there. So it's like when you step back is when that painting is viewed, and that's how you should view yours. So if you're frustrated, sometimes just get up from your chair or back up a little bit and just look at your painting. And then we laugh because people are like, well, I'll stand across the road or whatever, and it's like, you paint beautiful. It's okay. And that's the thing I want to encourage everybody is, to embrace the way that you paint. And messy's okay. I mean, I watch the ladies in my heart club, and we paint 3 times a month, and I see their paintings when they share them and stuff. And it's like, I see them growing as a painter, as an artist. And I'm thinking, in my mind, well, I just paint. I mean, I'm not anything special. I just do something I love to do. I didn't go to school for it. I just love to paint, and I love to teach and help other people get the same enjoyment that I do from a painting. And I'm not trying to conform anybody to a certain style or anything. So that's one reason why we do so many different kinds of paintings. But it's just, and then everybody just kind of finds their rhythm and their groove with it, and they just start painting. And I've seen them grow through the months and just see their paintings change and gain confidence in it. And I know some of them are even selling their paintings, and some of them are giving them away as gifts and sharing what they're, doing with other people and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just paint. And this is happening in this world that we need this kind of creativity, and we need beauty like this. And so I want to encourage you guys to go on with this and don't quit painting. When we're done with this, don't stop painting. Keep painting, keep sharing, keep doing what you are drawn to. You were drawn to this, and that's why you're here. So keep doing it. All right, sorry, off my soapbox. All right, let's paint some more. Okay, white, yellow, red. Kind of using the same colors tonight. All right, let's go to this big one here. Let's see what colors we get here. It's like a surprise every time. When you put those colors on your brush, you just don't really know what you're going to get. It's kind of like, so you read about me in my introduction, and I have 8 kids. 7 of them are mine. Yes, I had 7 babies. None of them are twins or multiples of any sort. So I was pregnant 7 individual times, and except for my last one, I never knew what I was having before they were born. And I love surprises. I love surprises probably more than, I don't know. My husband does not love surprises. It drives him crazy if he doesn't know what's going on. I mean, it drives me crazy because it drives him crazy, because it's like, are you serious? But anyways, so I never knew what I was having until my babies came out, which was an awesome thing to just be surprised like that. So, of course, since my husband doesn't like surprises, when we had ours together, he wanted to know what we were having. So anyways, but all that was saying was that when you put all those paint colors on your brush, you don't know what you're going to get until you put it on there. It's like, oh, it's like Christmas morning. So I think I was talking about painting with the memory care and the assisted living people that I do once a month. And I'm going to let that dry. And it was before COVID when I was going. There was one lady that was new to memory care. And they had her come paint. She didn't want to paint. So sometimes that's the way it is with some of them, that they don't really know what they're doing, what they're there for, and so they kind of fight it. And they got her to sit down and paint, and I don't remember her name, but anyways, I was practically in tears listening to her, and I wish I could have recorded it. I want to say that I wrote about it in one of my posts, and I'll have to find it. It's been a while. But this lady was like a kindergartner, and I give them mixing colors, and I would tell her, I mean, she was pretty, I could talk to her, and she would do what, I would say to do, without any problem. So I just tell her, first she was just, they had the colors on their plate, just like I put out here in blue. And so they would just pretty much, a lot of them would just paint with the individual colors unless I told them, let's make a new color and let's mix it together. And so I would tell her how she could mix a new color. And I don't even remember what she's painting, but she would just like go, I didn't know I could do that. And she was so excited. Every brush stroke she put on there, every color she made, it was just like, I didn't know I could do that. My teachers never told me I could do that. And it was so sweet. And it was just like Christmas morning for her over and over and over. And she's just ecstatic with every new color that she made. And it blessed me so much. It was so cool. And it's like, oh my gosh, this was so neat. So anyways, stories. I tell lots of stories. All right, let's go back to painting. Take a breath, lady. All right, white, yellow, and red. Again, that's what I was talking about, surprises of colors. All right, let's do I'm going to come over and do my ones. Did you do any layers? So I'm going to just come in here. So I'm not going to worry about where I stop. So I know where this one is. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint right into it. So that way I don't have to worry about stopping and making sure, like painting this, like you tend to want to paint around this and go this way. Still paint the direction I want. I feel like it should be lighter at the top side because top side's going to have a little bit more light. I got a little bit too much white in that. I do like these soft colors though. I get on my white. There's some white there. Okay. Now I'm going to do this one. So I do want it to be a little bit different color. So I'm going to just let it be a little darker by using less white in my brush. And this one was more upright, wasn't it? So now I just paint right on top of this one. All right, there's the layered ones. Okay, we're just moving right along here. What time is it? We're at an hour. I try to keep it at an hour. We may go just over a little bit, but I'm sure since you got the paints out, if you're painting along with me, you're probably okay with that. If you're watching, hopefully you're not watching the clock, but we'll be done here pretty soon. Is anybody doing different colors? Now these back here, I don't want them quite as liney. Again, we'll be going some more colors over them. But these would be a little bit softer because they're farther away from you. I'm just going to keep finishing out these pumpkins. You guys get plenty of practice. This is a great painting for just practicing with making colors because we're just staying with the same color over and over, giving you a chance to just kind of get used to it. If you get a color you don't like, let it dry and try it again, It's what's so nice about acrylic paint is it dries fast. I know some of you said you've done oils and other media, and this would be your first time with acrylic. I hope you're enjoying the experience. I know it's different, especially if you just do oil paints. Definitely different than oil. So it's like, hope you just kind of give yourself some grace as you kind of figure it out because it's not always something that's just going to be like, okay, I got it. Maybe. But sometimes it just takes us a little learning it a little different. If you're a watercolorist, definitely different with watercolor is you paint your lighter first and your darker last. Acrylic's the opposite. Not that you can't do darker on top. I mean, acrylic you can just about do anything with because it dries. All right. So these back here, they're littler, big brush strokes, so it doesn't have to have all the textures. Main thing is just getting colors that you like. Thinner, painting these thinner because I don't need as much detail in them. For sure, if you are, well, the ones farther back would also be tend to be a little lighter anyways, just because the farther away things are, the less saturation of color in them. So you can always just make sure you're getting a little lighter with whatever color palette you decided to use for your pumpkins. They're a little pinker, I think, then. But I can add, I'm going to go back over a couple of them and just kind of show you. These are really pink back here. So if they're pink, do you know what color, if you don't want them to be pink, what color you would add more of to get the pink so it's not so pink? You would add some more yellow. So that one, see how pink that one is? So I'm going to just take some yellow and white on top of that. One's really pink too. All right, now let those dry. And then, is this the first one I did? I think it was. I don't remember which one I did first, but it doesn't matter. So I want to tone these down a little bit. So these are really bright orange. So I'm going to go over a few of them. You're out, Yvonne. Thank you for hanging out. You have a great night too, and we'll see you Friday. All right, so I'm going to come up with these up here, and I'm going to make these a little lighter. Or, well, no, not up there. I'm going to I want them, if you look at mine again, let me just show you. Hang on. Do you see the difference in colors in these? A little bit more yellows in them. So I like, and there's also whites on there. So we'll do, Friday we'll add those highlights and stuff. But we're just going to go over a few of them. You can go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use a little bit more in my yellow and white now. I still want a little bit of red in it. I don't just want yellow and white, just like I showed you with your clouds and your sky. I didn't just put white up there. So I don't want to just do yellow and white to make more yellow in it. I got to put some of the, because there's yellow and white. There's a little bit of red, but you see the difference, which I do like that. But I just want a little tint. Find some red here without overpowering it. A little bit more red in that. And I want it light, so I am doing more white in it. Whoops, I just got a bunch of red in it. Okay, got it on my brush here. So I want to be mindful too. This is where I can leave gaps in between because I want those shadows where those little ribs are between my pumpkins. So if you think highlights with some of the lighter colors, and then leave some of those darker places in there, and that gives that dimension to it, to where it's like there's the ribs in it and the color, you know, the ribs, the indentations. A little highlight on the back sides of these. So you can turn your brush to skinny ways. I've been painting the whole time with my flat brush, but you can do some thinner lines by turning your brush the skinny direction. Again, always make sure you're following the same curve. Now I want to leave it darker down here, so I'm going to leave that darker there. I'm going to be okay with that. I may just want a little bit of yellow. I'm just going to grab some yellow. I want a little pop of yellow on there. Might be too much. I think it is. Let's soften that with some white. These pumpkins may not be ripe yet. Who knows the colors? I'm thinking of colors I like. I'm thinking I know exactly where I would put this in my house. So that's kind of what I just base it off of what I like. So if you don't like the color that I'm doing it, you do colors that you like, okay? So if you want it more yellow, if you want it more orange. See this one, see it has those darks. Remember how I said the green showing through kind of creates that shadow effect in there already. All right, so I'll let you watch some of the color mixtures I get here. Let's kind of get it started. I'm trying not to, I'm not like making it all, but just getting it started. This is where like I'm a little bit more intentional about how much of a color I get on my brush. Now I don't want to cover up. I just kind of covered up that dark a little bit too much. It's a little whiter than I think I want. Still think this one has more pink in it than I would probably prefer. So, but I do like, it's amazing the colors. Actually, I'm going to leave that. So it's almost like a fluorescent pink and a purple over there. That's just from mixing, and we didn't even use anything to create purple, but it still looks that way. So it's so amazing what color mixing will do and the colors you can create with it. So, and video does pretty good, but it sure isn't quite the same. Plus, too, those colors show up because of putting other colors next to it. That'll change a color. I don't know if you've ever seen where, well, like when you go into like a hardware store with your paint chips and they have, I don't know what brand has the ones with the little cutout squares in them. And if you lay those on top of different colors, they look different. The same color can look totally different because of the color that it's next to. And so it's the same thing with this. So just with 3 colors of paint, you're creating so much more with that. And I didn't have to buy all these different colors, which is the best. When I started my business, I didn't have any money. I was just trying to do something. I mean, find something. I was doing childcare a little bit, which I love kids, but I don't love childcare so much. And my youngest was 3 then when I started pieces of my art. I just started teaching kids art at home because I knew once he turned 4, I'd have to go work for somebody else. And I'd done that already, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like getting up in the morning, and I was making $10 an hour working at a pool store. That's like, I can't live off that, especially I was divorced. Well, not when I had Caden, the youngest, but before him, before I started my business, I had 6 kids. I was trying to suddenly find a way to support them when I was a stay-at-home mom. And so through a couple different things, I got remarried, and then we had Caden, and so I watched other kids, and then that kind of got old after a couple years. And it's like, so I just started this business, and I didn't have money, and people signed up. It was probably right when Facebook, because I did have my Facebook page. It was in 2011, so Facebook wasn't much of a thing. But I made flyers and took them up to the grocery store, and they put them in the grocery sacks for people about classes I was offering for kids art. And that's how I started, just doing this. And they signed up and paid the tuition for their kids, or one kid or whatever, and there was a $25 deposit, and then they paid when we started class in September, which would have been 10 years this last September. And so I took the $25 deposit per family, which wasn't, I maybe had 5 or 6 families, so I used that to buy art supplies with to get started. And to be able to save money on art supplies, I knew I had to do mixing colors, and they would have sets of stuff. We did watercolor. I love the watercolors I have. They're just Crayola brand, but they have a mixing color set. And then these paints, and that's how I found these. And I've just never gone back. It's been so much fun just making your own stuff. I did buy green at the very beginning, but it's like after a while, it's like, okay, we can make our own green. Don't need green. You limit yourself so much when you have the colors already, because unless you really stretch yourself and explore those colors, it's easy to limit yourself on all the colors. And I even did that with some paintings that I did before I even started any of it, because I had all the tubes of paint, and so then I would get all the greens, and I mixed some, but not like I do now. Beth, on the lighting for this, I just think of it overhead on this. I understand what you're saying. There is paintings where I usually specify, definitely for sure, there's times where it's like you want to keep everything on the same side. But for me, I always think of this painting, or I think of this painting as it's daytime, the sun's up above. So I usually make sure it's lighter at the tops of my pumpkins, not so much left and right. It's not like a sunset, so it's more daytime. So yes, that's a good question. There is times where you do need to know where your source of light is. But this is mostly just highlighting the tops, not so much the right side or the left side. Unless you wanted a sunset type painting, then that, it is important for sure at times. But that's why I'm just kind of pushing the lighter colors up towards the tops of my pumpkins for this. And tomorrow or Friday when we finish up, we'll have some, we'll have the top sides of the leaves will be a little bit lighter, the darker underneath sides and stuff like that. So it will work towards that, but this pumpkin will be a little, see, I can change shapes of my pumpkins too when I'm painting. Remember, these don't have as much detail back here. All right, well, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer because I think we had a good night of painting pumpkins. And so tomorrow we're going to, or not tomorrow, I keep saying tomorrow, Friday, we're going to add leaves and we're going to anchor these pumpkins because right now they look like a bunch of UFO pumpkins that are floating all over our pumpkin patch. And so we're going to anchor them down. Let me show you again. We'll anchor them down. We put leaves so you can see they're darker underneath. And then my leaves just kind of go everywhere, kind of up over them and the stems. So tomorrow or Friday, we're going to do lots of greens. Basically is all we're doing. And then we'll go back and add, like I have little streaks of greens on my pumpkin. You know, you might want to add some other little extra colors here and there. So anyways, that's it for today. This is such a fun painting. I'm so glad that it's hard sometimes to figure out what to paint and what you think everybody's going to look. And look how much paint I have left. I didn't even touch the black. I put all that black on there. We didn't even use it. But anyways, if I had a Ziploc bag out here, I think I may stick it in there, but it may still be dry by Friday. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You're welcome, Beth. I just absolutely love doing this. It's been such a blessing for me. Highlight of my life to be able to come out and paint. So blessed. I have a studio that I can do this, and living out in the country, Wi-Fi was a little touch and go at first. I have awesome Wi-Fi. Our neighbors have a tower, or their son does, and so he has gone above and beyond to make sure I have all the Wi-Fi I need to do videos and upload my videos. And so anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm also having a membership site built, and I'm so glad I decided to do that because again, I cannot get over what happened Monday. It wasn't a big deal, but it is kind of a big deal when your business is on Facebook. And I know that there's some people, and there's one lady that's even in our group that said she lost all of her pictures off of Facebook. And I heard other people talking, because I'm part of some networking entrepreneur type businesses, and where, people lost access to their business pages and photos and things like that. And so there's a lady in here that lost her photos, and I hope that it comes back for her, because I'd be devastated. I mean, I've used Facebook for so many years. I don't use it like I did. I use it for my business now. But anyways, we're so attached to it. And so I have a membership site, and I'm glad that I learned how to set up these web pages, because this isn't being streamed through Facebook. So if that's not there, we can still paint. And that's why email is so important. So if you're not an email, I understand. I mean, how many emails do you have in your inbox? That'll tell you right there. I'm not horrible. I might have 20 some that aren't read, and I might have a couple hundred in there that I think, I don't want to delete these. But I mean, if one that has the little red notification number on your phone or whatever, and it tells you 20,000 emails, I mean, those are the people that never read their emails and just let it get out of control. So anyways, email is so important if we lose, platforms that we've gotten so used to, like Facebook. So I want to still be able to communicate with you. I will still be painting. And it's like, how would people know that if we didn't have Facebook? Because that's where we've lived our lives so much in this. And so then it comes back to, do I just do in studio stuff? No, I love painting with everybody in other places. So anyways, email is an important thing to have. I know we get so much junk, but I always put my emails, I try to remember every time the subject has the little paint palette. So that one's for me. So make sure you keep those. So anyways, that way we can stay connected, and you'll know when I have more painting opportunities coming up. So with Christmas and fall, there's so many fun things to do for painting. And so there'll be some good things coming up for you guys to check out. So anyways, you guys have a great night. And let me make sure I don't need to answer anything. We're going to have a wonderful time. Hi, Diana. Yeah, this is almost over, so you'll be able to go back and do it. Hey, Dodie. Yeah, do it whenever, you guys. Saturday, whenever. You guys can get it done. You're welcome, Beth. You guys, thank you for hanging out. Let me see if I missed any questions. Diana, did I show you? I think I did show you the painting closer. Do you want to see mine closer or the final one closer? Because, sorry, earlier I did show the original one closer, but anyways, you will be able to see that I did show the other one, and I talked about some of the close-up things that... So I don't know if you had been on there when I was showing that earlier. So it's all my floating pumpkins. They look like they're up in the sky, don't they? There's a lot of blue, it looks like, over here that makes them look like they're up in the sky. But we're going to get those all anchored down tomorrow and put them down on the field where they belong. So anyways, all right, well, I'm going to get off so you guys that are waiting to watch the replay can do that. And you guys have a great evening. I will see you Friday morning at 10 a.m. Hope you could make it. I know some of you won't be able to, but anyways, the replay will be available right after that. You guys got all weekend to finish your paintings. I'm hoping you get it done. It's a seasonal one, so I want you to take time to do this because Monday we're doing our hand was covering the brush strokes. I'm sorry. While I was painting it. Yeah, it's hard to show the whole canvas if I'm too close. That's the only thing. But I move a lot, so you should be able to see it pretty good. So if you came in late, you should have plenty of opportunity to see a lot of it. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, you guys have a good night. So anyways, I'll see you guys Friday. If you're not there, I understand. Try to get your stuff done because Monday we got awesome drawings and gifts and stuff to go out for you guys and some fun other opportunities for you as well. So you guys have a great evening.